Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to talk about a few important factors to take in consideration if you're planning on traveling to Germany or any European country. I've traveled to Germany several times, so this is first-hand knowledge that I'm telling you and what I learned from my experience so that you don't fall victim to the same issues and be prepared when you're traveling. Okay, so the main topics are top 10 things to take in consideration. There's a lot more than this, but these are the main things that you need to pay attention to. So I'm going to go over them. Please pay attention. Basically, here are the top 10s. The first and most important one is you need to have your passport checked and validated to make sure your passport doesn't expire. Now, your passport must have at least 6 months worth of validation when you enter any European country. If your passport expires in, let's say, 4 months, and you're only visiting that country for a month, they will still deny you access or deny you visa or temporary visa, or visa waiver is what it's called, because if you're a US citizen, then you qualify for visa waiver to most European countries. If your passport, even if your passport expires after you return to the US, they still want the passport to have a minimum of 6 months of validation while you're staying there, just in case of an emergency, in case you miss your flight, in case you get sick or anything. They don't want you to be stuck in their country with a invalid or expired passport. So this is the reason behind it. And also make sure that your passport picture is up to date. As you know, US passports for adults expire in 10 years, and for children expires in 5 years, because children feature changes very rapidly, so their picture will kind of be invalid within 5 years. The child will grow and the picture will look nothing like him or her. That's why they expire in 5 years. Now, if you're an adult, make sure that your passport is your photo is matching your actual facial characteristics. For example, if your passport photo has a beard and you have already shaved your beard, that will cause a problem. So make sure that whichever way you look in your passport is exactly how you look in person. Second is you need a visa if you're not a US citizen. If you have a green card, or if you're a permanent resident, you must have a visa. And depending on where you live, you have to go to the embassy of the country you're visiting to obtain a visa. Usually they don't give you a hard time to give you a visa, to grant you a visa for a few months, but sometimes for permanent residents and for non-US citizens, they will require an invitation from relatives or people who are in Europe that you're going to visit. But that's not the case all the time. You could probably get it without the invitation. The third thing is you need to have a credit card, cash, ID card, and driver's license. Now remember that the regular ID card is no longer valid. You have to have a real ID or government issued ID which has validation nationwide, not the one that has validation only in your state of residence. Now you can get a real ID at any DMV office in whichever state you live. You simply go there and apply for real ID. They will issue your ID, and then you can use that to travel. However, traveling from state to state requires only real ID. But if you're traveling from country to country internationally, then you must have a valid US passport. Now, the US passport is a replacement of real ID. For example, if you have a valid passport, you don't necessarily have to have a real ID. The regular standard ID is good enough. But if you don't have a passport, you must have a real ID to go and travel in any airline, regardless if it's local or international, unless that travel is within the state that you're residing in. So that's the thing. make sure you get your real ID. It doesn't cost much. I believe it's $10-15 to get one. And why do you need credit card? You need credit card because in every country that you travel, if you use your ATM machine to withdraw money, the ATM machine will spit out the currency of that particular country. So you don't necessarily have to go to the airport or to the bank to get the currency of the country you're going to. Now, if you're traveling to Europe, most of the countries will require you to have euros. Now, there are some countries in Europe that do not accept euros, or they do accept euros, but they have their own currency. For example, United Kingdom or England, you have to have British pounds. If you go to Czech Republic, you have to have the Czech corones, I believe it's called. So there are certain countries that do not, even though they accept euros, but they actually have their own currency, and you might get a better deal to have their own currency than if you carry euros or American dollars. So make sure you have your credit card, make sure you remember your PIN to use the credit card, and make sure the credit card machines don't have the credit card number catching devices. I have spoken about that in my other videos, that they have these devices that they put in ATM machines to get your credit card information. So you have to make sure there are nothing attached to the credit card machine that you're using, like it's all firmly in place and there are no accessories, excessive things attached. In some places they have a camera in a tree or somewhere far away. The camera has strong enough lenses and zooms that they will zoom into the keypad of the ATM machine, so they will look at your PIN, and they will come and mug you, steal your credit card, and use the PIN to withdraw cash. So it's important to be vigilant, to watch and see all around you, and not to give away your PIN easily by not blocking the view of the keypad when you're entering your PIN number. These are important things to take in consideration. Number 4 is navigation device. Even though we all realize and know that we can use our smartphones for navigation worldwide, but that's not the case when you go out of the US, because they will charge you substantial amount of money for data charges. Now the data charges for different countries, you could get a plan that's unlimited data, but the speed is so slow that it's not even worth it. It doesn't even work. The maps will load and the phone will freeze, and you're stuck in the middle of nowhere with no navigation because there are no cell phone towers close by to get the data. So it's completely painful to use your smartphone. It's not practical. You buy a GPS. You can buy a used GPS on eBay with the map of the country you're traveling to, and make sure you're well prepared before you go to that country. Plan your route before you travel. You have to make a plan. You're going to visit this country, and then you go here, and then if you're going to one country only, then you need to plan your points of interest where you're going to this, let's say, for example, museum. You're going to this tourist attraction, or that tourist attraction, or theme park, this and that. All of them you need to plan the route before you go, because you will not have the time to plan your route while you're in that country. These are the things that you need to plan ahead before you even leave your house. So always plan ahead, plan your route. You should always have number 6, you should always have a plan B. You never know, and you can never predict what will happen when you're traveling. Your luggage could be stolen, the weather could be terrible, your hotel could be canceled, your credit card may not function or may quit working, your wallet could be stolen, your passport could be lost. For all of these unexpected situations, you have to have a plan B. If this happens, this is what I'm going to do. If that happens, this is what I'm going to do. So this is why you need to have be prepared for any situation. Should the rental car fail to provide you a vehicle, you should have another plan. How to take the bus, how to take the train, or go to a different rental company, this and that. And then number 7, which I always do myself, is to have a travel insurance. It's very important to have travel insurance. You don't know what will happen to you. Even if you have insurance, health insurance here in the US, it's not going to be valid in the hospitals worldwide. There are places that, for example, I had Blue Shield health coverage, and Blue Shield of California, I believe. And when I go there, when I in Germany, for even like a simple checkup, the doctors will not honor the Blue Shield. I had to pay out of pocket cash. Now, if you have a travel insurance, I'm not going to be promoting a specific travel insurance company. You could shop around, see which one provides you the best deal. But I personally use Insure My Trip, but you could shop around and see who provides the best deal. But if you have a problem with the travel during your travel and your luggage gets lost, your flight gets canceled, you have to get a hotel room, or if your passport gets lost, or if, let's say, the unexpected medical situation comes, you get into an accident, you have to go to a hospital, you name it, any medical emergency, the travel insurance company will handle it, and based on the policy, they will cover either partial or the entire amount after you have met your minimum deductible. So you have to read the fine print. When it comes to buying an insurance, when it comes to buying any policy, you have to read the fine print, because the fine print is where they will catch you. You have to make sure you're fully aware of all the things you're signing. Don't just sign because it says sign here. You have to read what are you signing for. This is something that all of us will learn the hard way, but we need to pay more attention and make sure that we are getting our money's worth and we are not being defrauded of anything. Okay, so be vigilant while traveling. When you travel, you are the most vulnerable ever, because you are not familiar with your surroundings. People could come in different places. They're thieves, pocket pickers, and you name it. All kinds of scammers who try to defraud you or scam you. People are out there asking you, would you like me to take your picture? They grab your phone and run away with your phone. There are people out there that are actually trying to pose as if they're kind people and trying to help you with your luggage. They grab your luggage and run away with the luggage. So these are the things you have to be careful. Don't trust anybody that comes to try to help you. I'm not saying you need to lose your trust in humanity, but you have to be vigilant. You have to realize and understand that you are the most vulnerable. And just because of the few bad apples, we have to be careful and not trust people, complete strangers, that we are traveling. So, and another thing is that never ever should you carry someone else's luggage. There are people who are trying to smuggle, and they will ask you to take their luggage for them, because let's say they're very old, they cannot grab the luggage, and they ask for your help, and you could be carrying drugs for someone else, and once you are in trouble, once you are caught, good luck trying to prove that you were being a good Samaritan trying to help someone. And that's not going to work in a lot of countries, especially in a country that you don't speak the language of. So that's another thing, that you have to be very, very extra cautious not to fall victim to that. Always carry a battery bank. As I told you in my previous video, there are scammers who will steal your private information by allowing you to use their battery bank. So always have your own battery bank. Some battery charging stations with USB ports for multiple phones are a vulnerability platform for people to steal your phone or steal your information within the phone. So be careful. Now, there are some phones that won't even charge unless they're unlocked. Some iPhones, for example, when you plug it into the charge, it says you have to unlock the phone for it to use this accessory, when that accessory is nothing but a lightning cable trying to charge the phone. So be very careful. Carry your own battery bank. Don't rely on the ones at the airports, at the taxi cabs, or anywhere else. Have your own battery bank. They're cheap. You can get them before you travel. You can get them online. You can get them on eBay. You can get them on Amazon. You name it. But do not travel without one, because you will need it and you will regret it if you don't have it. Number 10 is download the translation app. You must download the software that requires to translate. You could use Google Translate, but guess what? Google Translate will not work if you don't have internet, if you don't have data plan, if you are stuck somewhere and you don't have cell phone coverage, you don't have Wi-Fi. That phone is useless to you unless you have downloaded the translation app within the phone memory and use it. So make sure, whichever countries you're planning to travel, download the translation app for every single one of these countries. I hope this video was helpful for you. Now remember that this 10 tips, or the some of the important tips that came into my mind, but this is not the only thing you need to take in consideration. You have to take a lot more factors in consideration, and not having enough warm clothes when you're going somewhere and so on. So these are the things you need to take in consideration. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.